Do you find yourself entangled in very difficult relationships that are causing you an enormous amount of stress? Well, stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to teach you how to identify a toxic relationship, as well as the consequences of having them and a way to release them. To learn the best methods for getting into and staying in creative flow states, please hit the bell and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified of a new video every Tuesday. I have helped thousands of women break free from the wrong business partnerships, romantic relationships, and friendships. And I myself have left multiple relationships that would have taken me down a spiral of stagnation and financial death. So let's look into what the red flags are and prevent this destruction from happening. First, do you have a friend that whines and complains regularly? This is their usual type of conversation, complaining about what's wrong, what's not working, what they are bothered by, what they're upset with, without a desire for finding a possible solution, without exploring or asking for advice on how to change their situation. When you are around someone who just goes to problems only, we all have problems and it's great to share, but the person who only just likes to swim and bask in the problems, then that is a huge red flag. That is not a quality type interaction. In fact, I call it junk food interaction. It's a junk food form of attention. It's like consuming a lot of processed sugar. No real nutritive substance. It just adds excess and stagnation. Second red flag. Does it feel one-sided? Are you the one that is giving way too much in the relationship, doing all the supporting and the nurturing, and the other party is doing majority of the receiving? Or even vice versa. Are you the one receiving so much all the time and they're the ones excessively giving? So that is a dysfunctional dynamic between a partnership, a relationship, whether it's business or in a friendship or romantic. There needs to be a very healthy exchange of giving and receiving. Third red flag. Does a constant trail of problems seem to follow them along? Yes, there are certain people who have a tendency to get caught up in one issue after another. That is a pattern of very, very low frequency, low vibrations where they are calling in turmoil. The more time you spend with someone who is in chronic turmoil will certainly affect you. It's just like a tornado coming through a town. All of the homes in that area will get affected. If turmoil follows them, turmoil is going to follow you if you are in their field for long periods of time. Fourth red flag is in their presence. Do you feel tight? Do you feel knotted? Do you feel tension in your body when you are around them? Your body gives you so much information. So when you're around someone, check and see, do you feel expansive and light and movement and excitement, or do you feel worry and tension and fear or frustration? Just think, your body intuitively knows about another person. Your body speaks. It's speaking to you. It's telling you if a relationship creates expansion and openness and excitement, open-heartedness and flow and movement, or if a relationship just makes you go, yes. When you have that kind of contraction happening, then that is a major red flag to pay attention to, because it will bypass logic. Your body tells you truth. Do you have anyone that fits this description? Comment below, not naming names, but yes or no. Do you have a person in your life that may have all 4 of these red flags? There are energetic consequences to having too many of these types of relationships in your life. One is that they continually take little pieces of you, take parts of your vital essence from your spirit, from your soul. And it's like a drain, a leak that happens ongoing. And when you have that, you're creating deficiency. And you need your vital essence to be able to create and to move and have energy and to think and to give properly. So when there is not a proper give and take between you and another party, then it is very possible you're going to have some leaks and drains of your vital essence. And ladies, this causes aging. We don't want that. We want our vitality as long as possible so that we age gracefully and not have as many problems as we are getting older. For the relationships where a lot of complaining and whining of their life situations happens, think of it as like smoking a cigarette, right? It's a junk food kind of exchange. So whether you're eating a bunch of donuts or you're smoking a cigarette or excessively drinking alcohol, that is creating more toxicity buildup within your field. So we don't need to add more toxins, just like cigarettes or artificial coloring is adding toxins to our system with no nutritive value. That's what we're doing energetically when we are inviting those relationships into our life. So either way, you can create deficiencies where your energy is leaking, and then you can also create stagnation as you are adding in toxicity. Now, I do want to state that we are not labeling any person as good or bad. That is not the point. I'm going to give a bit of a Chinese medicine reference. In Chinese medicine, we look at all of the elements in nature and reflect that into the human system, the human body. So the human body has the elements of fire and earth and metal and water and wood. Now, what is poison for another could be health to a different person. It's a matter of matching what is the right kind of foods for the body, for example. Now, if a person has a lot of cold in their system, like they feel cold all the time, they love warm drinks, they're always cold, they're very overdressed, right? To a person who's got a lot of cold in their system, now I'm talking about Chinese medicine here, then we want to add warmth, right, to create more movement and flow to that person's body. Now, if I were to add more cold to an already very cold person, then we're going to aggravate the condition. So that cold becomes a toxicity, okay? So that becomes a pathogen. Not that the cold in and of itself is bad or evil, it's that to that person, that excess cold becomes pathological. So that is how we also can look at people in our lives and relationships. There are certain types of people that are absolutely perfect for our current constitution, that is that warmth to the cold. There's a perfect kind of person for that. But then we also can have someone who is cold and it's adding more cold to the cold person. So then that becomes pathological. That becomes a toxicity. So understand that it's all about cycles, and where we are in our lives, we want to make sure that we're bringing in the right elements within our life, right? The appropriate types of relationships that's going to create maximum flow within our system. Because even when we have deficiency happening, your cells, your body is not being nourished properly. It cannot replenish itself well. And even when there's deficiency, you have slowed movement, so you're gonna have lack of flow. And then when there's stagnation, it's congested, so you're gonna have impeded movement, and there's gonna be buildup in tension. So we don't want either. We don't want deficiency, or we do not want any stagnation. And so we wanna make sure that the relationships in our lives are creating nourishment and flow at the same time. I'm gonna teach you one of my favorite tools that I use to help regulate my relationships. I like to call it the Relationship Regulator, and it's petitgreen essential oil. I'll put petitgreen right on my heart space, so on the sternum between the breasts. And this is something you can do daily for a couple of weeks if you find yourself entangled in these very difficult relationships. So you put it on there, and it helps you to identify what relationships are nurturing, are nourishing for you, and which ones are toxic for you. And what's amazing is that it does it on its own. You don't necessarily have to have all of these conversations and break up, abruptly with people. That's not the point. The point is to help improve your discernment and managing your time and your commitment. So petitgreen creates this higher standard for yourself. Toxic relationships begin to look less appealing to you. So your desire to really entangle and engage with the toxic relationships just becomes less and less and less. And you may have some conversations as well. So I recommend putting it on the heart space between the breasts every day for about 2 weeks and watch what happens. You just might have an entirely different business and friend circle. If you want to join a community of like-minded creative entrepreneurs, then join our fabulous and free Facebook group. If you don't have these powerful essential oils to create the transformations that you desire, then look down at the link below and we will get you set up with the best quality essential oils. If you love this content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And if you would like to learn more about how to raise your vibration, check out these 2 videos, the Law of Resonance and Removing Negative Thoughts. See you next time.